Stop networking. Start connecting and serving. This is week 10, episode 10 of the Yepcast. Let's go. This is the Yepcast, where we're building a tribe of creators, movers, and shakers,
and inspiring young entrepreneurs to learn, think, and support one another. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Yepcast. I'm your host, Madeline Martini, and
my name is James Nuveen.
Thanks so much for listening. This is our episode number 10. Can you believe it, James?
Week 10 of the Yepcast.
Woot woot.
As this is our 10th episode of the Yepcast, we have learned so much in these 10 weeks. 10 weeks of recording, that means 10 weeks of learning. If you listen to episode 1 of the Yepcast and play it over episode 10 of the Yepcast, they are going to be completely different. And that's also kind of the model that we want you guys to take into your own lives. We want you guys to be shifting and changing all the time, to be making sure that you are being the best you can be in the entrepreneurial world as well as your own personal world. So, having said that, let's continue on. This is episode number 10 of the Yepcast. We hope you guys love it as much as all the other 9.
Kicking it off with In the News. This week, Google held their annual event in California where they premiered the Pixel 3. So they kind of did this pretty soon after Apple just released their iPhone a couple weeks ago. And now the Pixel 3 has a little bit different look than past years. And people are kind of complaining about the design, to be honest. Apple's known for their design, but Android is more known for their actual software.
And their operating system.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they have done a lot with operating system. One thing I'm super excited about is the Duplex, which is not just unique to the phone. It's a thing they're working on overall in the company. And it's actually their AI platform. So Duplex can make calls for you and can have real human conversations. It's amazing. But my favorite part of it is, I don't know how many people get spam calls out there, but I'm guessing a lot of you, if you get any of those loan service ones. Now Google Pixel can listen into your calls, which is a little creepy, but then they can hang up and remove those automatically, so it doesn't waste your time. It's really embodying the personal assistant, which I think is such a cool thing. So I'm super excited. I'm a hardcore Apple user. I don't know if I'll switch, but I am always a fan of whatever Google puts out.
I'm kind of opposite of Madeline with the use of tech. I have never been a fan of Apple's products, although I have all of them. I just got my first Apple iPhone about a year ago, I think, and I've hated it ever since. And I would like to switch back, but I love some features of the Apple iPhone that I just can't give up.
Yeah. Having
said that, I think the moves that Google is making in the space of AI and with the Pixel are incredible. I think they're going to be catching up to Apple and Samsung way sooner than people expect. I think Apple's creativity and innovation are kind of plateauing. I was just talking to a professor today about this, actually. I think their creativity and innovation are plateauing. So they've been the model and the image of creativity and innovation for maybe 30 years, 25, 30 years. But I think that's kind of slowing a little bit. The rate at which that's going up is slowing a little bit. And I think it's starting to plateau. And I think we're going to see them decline while these Chinese brands like HTC and Huawei and Samsung and now Google, I think they're going to skyrocket because people love the Android operating system because it's so much more customizable.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's exciting to see. It's exciting, time in the phone space, and I don't think we're really there. I agree. Apple is really disappointed me with. I'm a huge fan, but I was very disappointed with their last live stream. So we'll see what's next in that space. What do you have for news today, James?
I have some news about Snapchat. We talked about Snapchat last week, I believe, with the visual search, the image search connected with Amazon. But this week, they are launching a whole new feature. You might have noticed it if you're a Snapchat user. But they're scripting 12 original shows uniquely featured in Snapchat. So when you swipe right and look at all your stories, and down below you see ads and channels, there are going to be original shows there.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're becoming the mobile Netflix or the mobile HBO as an article in TechCrunch labels them. So they're trying to take over this mobile movie and video space, probably trying to take some market share from Instagram, but also trying to create their own unique Instagram TV-esque channel thingy. I don't know what they're doing.
Yes,
but
those two brands always seem to do whatever the other one does with Instagram and Snapchat. So I don't know. Can you imagine like sitting back and watching an HBO show from Snapchat?
I mean, I'm sure they're not 30 minutes long or an hour long. I'm sure they're moderately short, 5 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
Not really. Can't really see myself doing that.
Yeah, I don't see myself doing it either.
That's what they're doing, and it's big news.
Yeah, it might be maybe for a Gen Z thing. We'll see.
Yep.
Exciting stuff. Now on to our take. %, of jobs are never posted online. And what does that mean? 80% of jobs are gotten through networking, through face-to-face emails, interactions with human beings. So when you're applying online, sometimes that does feel like a black hole because it is, because 80% of those people are not even applying and getting that gig. So I have a personal story to share with how I got my job now with the startup I work for in Cincinnati. I actually did a survey for another company, which is very weird. This is probably one of the weirdest stories you'll ever hear about how someone got a job, but I did a survey for this startup. It was a food app, and I shared my experience on their app, and I kind of went a little crazy and gave them a lot of recommendations and wrote a whole email. It was very long, but the founder of the company responded himself, and he was super impressed, and he wanted to meet with me and discuss what I had said and maybe the opportunity to work with them. I had no intent of doing that when I did the survey, just putting that out there. I just was free one Tuesday night or something, and I was like, okay, let's give this startup some advice. From that, I got connected with that founder to the founder of the company I work for now, and he was in the space. I had worked in email in the past, in the email marketing space, and so he thought it would be a good fit, and then I met him at Starbucks, and the rest is history. I've been with the company for almost 2 years now. That's how I met James, and it's an amazing experience. And I never thought that night I did that survey that would lead to this, and I never thought when I got coffee with my current boss now that would lead to this as well. So I think this is a big story of networking isn't always the way that we see it a lot of times. It's not always going to an event. It's seen in a lot of different ways.
I can really relate to that, Madeline. You said something that I think a lot of people say. You said, I don't think I would have ever imagined it would have worked out like that. But because we make certain relationships with certain people, it just happens to work out. Things just happen to work out in your favor because you're a go-getter, you're a doer, you're a dreamer, and things just happen to benefit you all the time because you go out there and get it.
If you notice too, I didn't ask for a job, which I think is a common thing people do in networking scenarios is they go with that intent first, and that was never my intent. My intent was just to give to a startup and to serve first.
And this is a great point Madeline brings up. I think the number one purpose you have when you're going to meet people or connect with people is to serve them before you serve yourself. You're not trying to extract value. You're not trying to get something from them. First of all, you need to be giving something to them in order to get something back from them. Serve first. What value can you bring them in order to get value from them back to you? It's a give and take. You cannot expect everything to fall in your lap. You need to do things. You need to provide value. You need to have a purpose. And I think that's the number one thing when you're connecting with people. Stop this networking bullshit. It's all crap. What is networking? That word literally means nothing anymore because everyone uses it. It's so oversaturated. oh, I'm going to this networking event tonight. What the hell does that even mean? You need to be connecting, not networking. It just doesn't make any sense. And Madeline knows that word just pisses me off all the time.
Yes.
Every time I hear it, I just cringe.
I am always a big one, or I used to be, I should say, a big one for networking events. And because I love meeting people. And I don't go to networking events wanting something out of it or wanting like, okay, this is my next move, or I'm going to go up and talk to this person because I know they're like big in this industry. Don't do that. People can see right through it. I've seen right through it. I've seen it happen before my eyes, and it's terrible. It's terrible for you. It's terrible for the other person. And the reason networking events are so uncomfortable is because you know everyone there wants something. So if you follow the model that James has set up, that you serve first and you don't just like say like, oh, I can help you with this, like genuinely mean it and genuinely provide value. And from there, I think you can do incredible things with your relationships. And think of it as that, connecting and relationships, not a business contact.
What Madeline just said reminds me of a certain situation that we both encountered. She said that a lot of places where you go, a lot of these networking events, or so they're called, everybody just wants something. Everybody just wants to extract something from that networking event. And you can see literally right through it. Madeline and I were in San Francisco for a conference this summer, and it was a very it was a conference targeted right towards us, younger kids who aspire to be entrepreneurs, who are already entrepreneurs, who want to be creators and create value for others. But when you go to these conferences, there are always those people who are sticks in the mud, or people with sticks up their asses, wherever their sticks may be. And there was one guy at this conference from Portland, and Madeline remembers this distinctly as well as I.
Yes.
This guy came up to us when we were just drinking in the atrium with everybody else. He comes up to us and starts talking about his real estate value and God knows what. But I couldn't even listen because he was just talking our ears off, not asking about us. He didn't even ask us our names. He didn't ask us how we were, what we were doing there, where we were from. He had no intent of ever asking anything about us, because the only thing he wanted to do was put his name out there and for us to follow him or for us to invest with his company. But it was just utter crap.
Yeah.
And we saw right through it. He left right after that because I think he knew that he wasn't going to get anything from us.
It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had at any kind of event with a person. And it's not what he said. It's like James said, how he did it. He talks about himself the entire time, which is like, I do like listening to people. I like hearing people's story, but like at a certain point, like you gotta, that's a good like check mark. I think if you're going to an event, ask about other people versus talking about yourself, because it shows you care. And I also, when we were giving all this advice, I don't like saying like, this is what you should do, this, because you genuinely have to care. You really do. Like, you can't just go into an event and just say like, okay, I'm going to listen to what they said and just ask some questions and offer stuff first. No, you have to mean it. So, and that means the connection might not be right with that person. If you don't really feel like genuinely connected, or you don't genuinely want to help, don't do it. Just move on to the next person. You're not using them. There's connections you'll find. Like, I do remember these two crazy people. Do you remember the two crazy people we met? The crazy cool. They were crazy in a good way.
Yes, crazy cool.
But we talked with them for like an hour at that event, at that networking event. And then we ended up going to another event with them after, and they were so cool because we kind of became friends versus becoming connections. So we never exchanged our business cards or anything like that. We barely shared where we worked. We just talked about our passions and our past, and that's what really forms a connection.
Business cards. Do we really need them?
No.
This is kind of an epiphany. I think the conversation that we have with others is the currency that we're exchanging. Why do we need to exchange business cards when you should be exchanging conversation? People should remember your name because you have a memorable conversation. You're providing them value. You shouldn't have to give them your card. in order for them to remember you. All right, anyway.
No, I completely agree. That's a dead industry. And now we have LinkedIn too. So if you want to follow up, I recommend connecting on there because that's more a live engagement that like you can follow them and actually care about their journey versus having a little plastic card that you're probably going to throw away when you get home. So.
And that brings up another topic, Madeline. LinkedIn. It's a big one. I heard this story this summer about how LinkedIn was started. The founder of LinkedIn, Reid Hoffman, believes in the theory of connections. The reason why LinkedIn exists is to connect people from all over the world. Theoretically, you are connected within 6 degrees with every single person in the world. That blows my mind. That's amazing. So I don't know anyone in the country of Kazakhstan, but I guarantee you I have a 6th degree connection or less in the country of Kazakhstan. So let's say I pick out a random person in Kazakhstan and I can get as close to possible because I know someone from, let's say, China. I know someone from China. Maybe that person that I know in China knows someone who lives in Uzbekistan, and they have a cousin who lives in Kazakhstan, and they have a distant friend who lives in the same town as this random person that I picked at the beginning, lives in the same town as this random person. We are all connected in some way, shape, or form. That's why LinkedIn exists. That's why you see a 2nd degree connection, because people are in between us who can connect for us. That's the purpose of 2nd degree connections. You have a friend that can connect you to. It was originally meant to literally connect everyone in the world, and that is an amazing mission. That is an amazing mission Reid Hoffman set out to do. You have to be intentional about that because you don't want garbage in your network. People who are going to take advantage of you just because of your name or just because of your skills or just because of your network.
One thing that somebody told me, I forget who it was, but a while back, they said pick people in your life to become like your board of directors. So your personal board of directors that you can have kind of stray away from people being who are totally unbiased and they just support you and what your personal and professional goals in life. So pick like 10 people, 5 people, however many people in your life and kind of form your board. It's not obviously a formal thing, just it's something that you know that you can turn to those people and they'll guide you along the way.
I remember specifically messaging Madeline this summer when I left my internship. And after I had connected with some really cool people at that internship, not just at the company I worked at, but in the whole building where I worked. Everyone that I cared about when I left this company said, or over email said, let me know how I can help you. Let me know how I can help you in the future, whether it's venture capital or entrepreneurship or startups or advice or feedback. People just want to help. And when they've been in the industry for 20 years or 15 years or 40 years, that's when they really understand the value of a great network. And that's why they ask. And that's why they tell you, I can help you. Let me do that. Just reach out because I enjoyed your presence and you were a good kid. You helped me. You provided value to our company and stuff like that. And when I was researching for this topic, for this episode, I came across this quote, and I think this quote embodies the whole idea of a network. And it goes, networking is overrated. I completely agree with that. Become a person of value, and your network will be available when you need it. And that's why people say, let me know how I can help you when you leave their company or when you need their assistance.
I love that. Yeah, I think I completely agree. And it all comes back to serving first and putting others before yourself. And that's with anything you do in life. If you do that, you'll have an amazing network around you and things will just come to you. If you put good out, good will come back.
And I think a huge element of serving people first, especially in conversation, is your body language. So when you're conversing with people, when you're talking to them and trying to listen, first of all, you have to listen. You have to listen actively. Eye contact is huge. Huge, huge, huge. Nodding your head when they make a point. Or you just have to show that you're interested in what they're talking about. Show that you care about what they're talking about. Smile. That's another huge thing. So many people don't smile. If you're nervous, putting a smile on your face makes the person across from you smile, and you'll feel instantly so much better than you did at that time. Own the room. Be confident. And another tip that I learned a few months back that I don't think a lot of people know, and it's kind of deceiving, but if you're in a room where you don't know anyone and you're trying to talk to someone, throw a wave in a random direction like you know someone, because people are attracted to other people who know people. Is that not true?
That's
it's totally
so
true.
true. It's true.
If you know a lot of people, people enjoy your presence. The person across the table or the person you're talking to across the room will enjoy talking to you if you know people. So just throw a wave in a random direction. Don't let that person see who you're waving to, because you're not waving to anyone.
Yes, that totally makes sense, because that improves your social currency, and that makes complete sense. Another thing, too, with body language is, I know naturally a lot of times we cross our arms, and I'm a huge person for this, but that like closes you off. When you cross your arms, that's a universal sign of not being interested, even if you are. And another thing is like putting your hands on your face. You just have to be really aware. And there's so many tips and helpful videos out there. I follow one YouTuber, and I'll link her below, and she does an amazing job of giving quick tips and little things you can do with your body language. And it's honestly, it seems kind of fake that we're talking about this, but we're just normally not aware. We don't look at ourselves in the mirror constantly, and we don't see how we're always acting. And even though we're engaged, sometimes our physical doesn't match that.
It just really helps in conversation to be curious. Like, be curious about what they're talking about. Even if you don't give a crap about their industry or don't give a crap about what they do, you just have to be curious. And people love that. Like, if I'm talking to someone who's not at all interested in what I'm talking about, I'm just going to walk away. If you're not going to give me the time of day, I'm not going to give you the time of day. Why would I? What's the point of that conversation? And it's so easy to tell. So easy to tell.
Game on.
Alrighty, kids, story time. So we're in the summer of 2016, and I'm taking the fall semester off that year. I wanted to work for a startup because that summer I realized entrepreneurship was for me. That was my calling. I cold emailed CEOs of 38 startups in the city of Cincinnati, which is about 45 minutes south of where I live and go to school in Ohio. I emailed 38 CEOs of startups, just proclaiming my interest in what they do in their city, in their ecosystem, the startup ecosystem, and the field of entrepreneurship. I sent a video along with this this email, and that was explaining who I am, what I like to do, and kind of embodied like my fun spirit. I mean, I like to think of myself as fun.
You're fun.
Thanks, Madeline. But I just wanted to learn. I just wanted to learn. And I said that. I was just very honest in my email and said, listen, I'm young. I want to learn how to do this stuff. And I don't think I could learn from anyone but you, someone who's actually doing it, a CEO of a startup. So I emailed these CEOs of 38 startups in Cincinnati. And by the end of this process, this was a cold email, by the way. I didn't know any of these people. By the end of this process, I ended up getting about 6 offers to intern for these companies for the whole fall semester, August to January. How incredible is that? That's so cool. Like, it was just because I emailed them and reached out of nowhere and showed I was interested, showed I wanted to learn. and could also provide them value. In this email, I obviously detailed what I've done up to this point and how I could be of help. Because if you don't do that, who's ever going to hire you? Because you might as well be a 2-year-old in a diaper if you can't do anything. So for this week's challenge, I really want to call our Yep Tribe to action. If you've been sitting on your ass and thinking about emailing a CEO of a Fortune 500 company and trying to learn from him or trying to get a job from him, just do it. What do you have to lose? I didn't have anything to lose in that case, and I ended up getting 6 offers from 38 companies. That's crazy. And that was 2 years ago. Just do it. You have nothing to lose. And also, with this, you're going to be denied a bunch. And it's kind of demoralizing. It's kind of defeating. But also, the more you apply yourself, the more you're going to hear back, the more feedback you're going to get. And when people deny you, say, what could I do better? How could I be better? How could I provide value to you? Because that's when you learn. When you fail, you learn. So I'm calling all you Yeppers, you Yep Tribesters, you Yep Tribe members to action. Do something that is out of your comfort zone. Email Carly Fiorina, former CEO of HP, or Mark Zuckerberg, or Bill Gates. Bill Gates will probably actually answer you.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk. Elon Musk will 100% answer you. Instagram DM him and say, I have some really cool ideas for you, and list them out, and then say, could I talk to you on the phone for 5 minutes? What's the worst that could happen? He'll ignore you. And you spent 10 minutes on that. That's whatever. And then you learn. You learn that Elon Musk won't answer your Instagram DMs, and that maybe your tips for him weren't enough. So again, I'm challenging you guys to be bold, do something out of your comfort zone, try to connect with someone who you shouldn't be connecting with just because shouldn't be connecting with in
Air quotes.
And just reach out. Try to learn from them, but provide them value because that's what they need. All right? Sound like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. We cannot believe that this is episode 10. It has been such a journey. And for all the people who have been listening since episode 1, thank you so, so much. You guys, I'm sure, have seen the changes, and we try to make constant improvements. And as always, please email us your feedback at team@helloyep.com. Thanks so much, guys. See you next week.
Peace.